Winners take risks. Good morning, everyone. Let me start with a question. How often do we let fear hold us back? Not fear of danger, but fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of taking a leap into something uncertain. The truth is, winners don't just play it safe. Winners take risks. They step beyond the familiar and dare to explore paths where the outcome isn't guaranteed. I want to share something with you. Every major breakthrough in life, every dream realized, and every mountain conquered comes down to one pivotal moment when someone chose to take a risk. Taking risks is not about recklessness. It's about having the courage to embrace what you cannot control while giving everything to what you can. It's about reimagining your limits and asking, what if this obstacle is the very thing I need to reach my potential? Many of us see challenges as barriers, but I challenge you to see them differently. A barrier can be a teacher. It can push you to grow in ways you never thought possible. Winners understand this. They look at the obstacles in their lives and ask, what can this teach me? How can I grow from this? But here's the thing about risks, they don't always work out the way we expect. And that's okay, because failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. It's a stepping stone. Winners don't let failure define them, they let it refine them. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's feeling the fear and taking the leap anyway. When we risk, we open ourselves to the possibility of failure, but we also open ourselves to the possibility of success that may look completely different than we ever imagined. Transform obstacles into opportunities. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a massive canyon. On the other side is everything you've ever dreamed of: fulfillment, purpose, success. But between you and that vision is this deep, gaping space, and obstacles so daunting, it feels impossible to cross. Most people would stop there, convinced it's the end of the road. But winners, they see something different. Obstacles are often painted as roadblocks, as barriers meant to halt our progress. But what if I told you that these very obstacles are invitations, calls to grow, to innovate, to reimagine the way forward? This is the mindset of someone who refuses to give up, someone who sees a canyon not as the end of the journey, but as a chance to build a bridge. When I think of obstacles, I think of the moments in life that seem to strip away everything we think we need. They test us, challenge us, and push us to the edge of what we believe is possible. But here's the beautiful irony: those moments don't just reveal who we are, they give us the chance to become someone we've never been before. You see, obstacles don't block the path, they are the path. They demand creativity, determination, and a willingness to see beyond the immediate challenge. Winners embrace this. They ask, what does this situation make possible? Instead of dwelling on what's been lost, they focus on what can be gained. Let's get real for a moment. Obstacles are uncomfortable. They force us to face uncertainty, frustration, even pain. But discomfort is where growth begins. It's where we learn to dig deep and discover strength we didn't know we had. It's where we transform, not in spite of the challenges, but because of them. Think about the stories that inspire us most. They're not tales of smooth sailing. They're stories of perseverance, innovation, and resilience in the face of adversity. Those who achieve greatness don't avoid obstacles, they embrace them. They understand that every obstacle contains a hidden opportunity, a chance to pivot, to grow, to succeed in ways that seemed unimaginable before. Maybe you're facing your own canyon right now. It could be a failed plan, a missed opportunity, or a personal loss that's knocked you off course. It's natural to feel stuck. But what if, instead of asking, why is this happening to me, you asked, what can I create from this? Here's the secret: obstacles don't take away our ability to dream, they give us new tools to achieve those dreams. Sometimes when the path you're on crumbles beneath your feet, it's not the end, it's a redirection to something better. Embrace the unknown with courage. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a dense, uncharted forest. The path ahead is shrouded in mist, and the only thing you know for sure is that it's unfamiliar. It's easy to hesitate, isn't it? The urge to turn back toward what's safe and known is almost overwhelming. But let me ask you this, what if the most extraordinary version of your life lies on the other side of that uncertainty? Stepping into the unknown isn't easy. It's vulnerable, it's scary, it's uncomfortable, but it's also where courage is born. Courage doesn't come from certainty, it comes from action in the face of the unknown. It's deciding to move forward even when you don't have all the answers, trusting that the next step will reveal itself as you go. You see, the unknown isn't the enemy, it's the teacher. It's the place where we're forced to rely on something deeper than a detailed plan or a guaranteed outcome. When we embrace it, we tap into our creativity, our resilience, and our inner strength. We discover not just what we can do, but who we can become. Think about this, every major breakthrough in human history came from someone stepping into the unknown. From exploring uncharted lands to making revolutionary discoveries, it's always taken someone willing to say, I don't know what's out there, but I'm going to find out. That same courage exists within each of us. Now, embracing the unknown doesn't mean you won't feel fear. Fear is natural, it's part of our survival instinct. But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. Fear and courage often walk hand in hand, but courage is the voice that says, I'm scared, but I'm still going to try. Here's the thing about the unknown, it has the power to transform us. It forces us to let go of control, to lean into possibility, and to trust in the journey. The unknown is where innovation lives. It's where we discover solutions we never knew existed, where we find strengths we didn't realize we had. And yes, the unknown is risky, it's unpredictable, but isn't that where the magic happens? When we allow ourselves to take that first step, even when the destination isn't clear, we open the door to opportunities we never could have imagined. Reimagine your limits. Imagine a line drawn in the sand, bold and definitive. You've been told this is as far as you can go, maybe you've even believed it, but what if that line wasn't real? What if it was just a suggestion, a perception shaped by fear, doubt, or past experiences? Winners understand that limits don't define us, they challenge us to redefine ourselves. Reimagining your limits begins with one powerful realization: most of the boundaries we encounter in life are not fixed. They're flexible, waiting to be stretched and reshaped. The question is, are we brave enough to test them? Are we bold enough to step beyond what we think we're capable of and explore what truly lies on the other side? It's easy to accept limits, isn't it? They feel safe. They give us a sense of certainty. But that certainty can be a trap, keeping us stuck in a version of ourselves that's smaller than what we're meant to be. When we reimagine our limits, we give ourselves permission to dream bigger, to aim higher, to rewrite the story of what's possible. Think about the word impossible. How often do we hear it? How often do we feel it? But here's the secret: impossible is just an opinion, not a fact. Throughout history, people have shattered the illusion of impossibility by daring to question it. They've looked at limits and asked, what if this is just the beginning of a new path? When we're faced with a limitation, whether it's physical, mental, or circumstantial, it can feel like a wall. But what if that wall is a window waiting to be opened? Reimagining your limits is not about denying the challenges, it's about seeing beyond them. It's about asking, how can I adapt? How can I grow? How can I turn this limit into an opportunity for transformation? The truth is, limits are rarely as solid as they seem. What feels like the end of the road can often be a launching pad for something extraordinary. But that transformation doesn't happen on its own. It takes vision, determination, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. It's in those moments when we push against the edges of what we think we can do that we discover the boundless potential within us. And here's the most empowering part: when you reimagine your limits, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage to challenge the status quo becomes a ripple effect, showing those around you that their own boundaries might not be as fixed as they believed. You become living proof that what once seemed out of reach can become reality. Leverage fear as fuel. Think about the last time fear gripped you. Your heart raced, your palms got sweaty, and your mind filled with questions like, what if I fail? What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? Fear has a way of freezing us in our tracks, convincing us that the safest option is to stay right where we are. But here's the thing: fear isn't meant to stop you, it's meant to ignite you. Winners know something about fear that most people don't. They know that fear isn't the enemy. It's energy. It's a signal that you're stepping into something that matters, something that could change you, grow you, or push you toward a greater purpose. Fear, when harnessed, becomes one of the most powerful fuels for action. You see, fear is a natural part of the human experience. It's wired into us to protect us from danger. But in today's world, fear often shows up not as a reaction to real threats, but as resistance to change, growth, and the unknown. And this is where we get to choose: will fear hold us back, or will it push us forward? Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, preparing to leap into something new: a career, a relationship, a dream you've carried for years. Fear is that voice saying, don't do it. Stay here. It's safer. But winners hear that voice and respond with, thank you for showing me how much this matters to me. Now watch me fly. Fear is like fire. Left unchecked, it can consume us, paralyzing us with doubt and inaction. But when we take control of it, fear becomes the spark that lights the way forward. It sharpens our focus, energizes our efforts, and propels us into action. The key is not to fight fear, but to reframe it. Instead of seeing it as a barrier, see it as a sign that you're stepping into something meaningful. The most incredible stories of human achievement are not tales of people who never felt fear. They're stories of people who felt it, acknowledged it, and then used it to push themselves further than they ever thought possible. They didn't wait for the fear to go away, they acted anyway. And in doing so, they discovered that fear wasn't their enemy, it was their guide. When fear shows up, it's tempting to back away. But what if instead you leaned in? What if you let fear remind you of the stakes and the potential for greatness? What if you let it drive you to prepare harder, focus deeper, and commit fully? Fear doesn't have to be the thing that stops you. It can be the thing that moves you. And here's something beautiful: every time you face your fear and take that step, the fear begins to lose its power over you. You grow stronger, more confident, more capable. The thing you once feared becomes a memory of a moment when you chose courage over comfort, growth over stagnation. Celebrate failure as a teacher. Failure. It's a word that carries so much weight, doesn't it? For many of us, failure feels like the end of the story, a verdict that says, you weren't good enough, fast enough, smart enough. But winners see failure differently. They see it not as a final chapter, but as the beginning of something powerful. Think about it: every great success story has failure woven into it. It's not an exception, it's part of the process. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the foundation upon which success is built. It's the classroom where the most valuable lessons are learned, the arena where resilience is forged, and the mirror that reflects where we need to grow. Imagine trying to learn a new skill, whether it's riding a bike, playing an instrument, or starting a business. How many times do you fall? How often do you hit the wrong note or stumble along the way? Each of those moments feels like a setback, but they're actually stepping stones. Every fall teaches you balance. Every wrong note tunes your ear. Every misstep refines your path. Without those failures, there's no progress. The truth is, failure strips away what doesn't work and clears the way for what does. It forces us to reevaluate, to innovate, and to approach challenges with fresh eyes. Winners don't fear failure because they understand its role. They know that every failure contains a lesson, and every lesson is a step closer to success. But here's the catch: you have to be willing to look for the lesson. Failure doesn't teach automatically, it teaches when we reflect, when we ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? It's not always easy. It requires humility to admit where we went wrong and courage to try again, knowing we might stumble once more. Now, celebrating failure doesn't mean you're happy about falling short. It means you're grateful for what it offers you: insight, growth, and a chance to rise stronger. It's about recognizing that failure isn't a reflection of your worth, it's a tool for your transformation. Let me ask you this: when was the last time you failed at something? How did it feel? And more importantly, what did you take from it? Because here's the secret: failure is only permanent if you stop there. Winners celebrate it because they know it's temporary, a stepping stone on the way to something greater. And think about the impact of this mindset. When you celebrate failure as a teacher, you give yourself permission to take risks, to try, and to dream big. You free yourself from the fear of making mistakes because you understand that mistakes aren't the end, they're part of the journey. Act on passion, not perfection. How many dreams have we let sit on the shelf because we were waiting for the perfect moment? How often have we held back thinking, I'm not ready yet, it's not good enough, I'm not good enough? The truth is, perfection is a myth, and waiting for it is the fastest way to keep yourself from moving forward. Winners don't wait for perfection, they act on passion. Passion is what sets your soul on fire. It's the energy that keeps you going when the odds are stacked against you. It's the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning, dreaming bigger, reaching higher, and believing in something greater than yourself. But passion doesn't wait for everything to be flawless. It thrives in the messy, imperfect beginnings. When you act on passion, you tap into a power far greater than the pursuit of perfection. Perfection seeks approval, but passion seeks purpose. Perfection demands that everything be just right before you begin, but passion says start where you are with what you have and let your heart lead the way. Think about this, every masterpiece began as a rough draft. Every trailblazing idea started as a risk, an experiment, or a spark of inspiration that wasn't polished or complete. The people who created those masterpieces, who turned their sparks into flames, weren't focused on getting it all right. They were focused on the why, the passion driving them forward. Here's the truth about perfection, it's paralyzing. The pursuit of it often keeps us from even starting. We're so afraid of failing or falling short that we never take the first step. But winners know that action is what creates momentum, not waiting for everything to line up perfectly. Passion is what keeps you moving, learning, and growing along the way. When you act on passion, you give yourself permission to be vulnerable, to take risks, and to make mistakes. And in those moments of imperfection, something extraordinary happens. You grow, you learn. You connect with others who resonate with your authenticity and your willingness to show up, flaws and all. Passion is contagious. When you lead with your heart, people don't notice the rough edges, they notice the fire, the energy, the belief that fuels your actions. They're inspired not by your perfection, but by your willingness to chase something meaningful, even when the path isn't clear. So ask yourself, what are you waiting for? What dream, idea, or calling have you put on hold because you're worried it's not ready or you're not ready? The world doesn't need perfect, it needs real. It needs people willing to show up with their passion and take imperfect steps towards something extraordinary. Stay resilient in the face of setbacks. Life has a way of throwing us curveballs when we least expect them. A door closes. A dream feels like it slips through your fingers. A plan you worked so hard for suddenly crumbles. Setbacks are inevitable, they're part of the journey. But what defines winners is how they respond to those moments. Resilience isn't about avoiding setbacks, it's about learning to rise stronger every time they come. Imagine a tree in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, branches bend, and rain pours down relentlessly. At first glance, it looks like it might break, but that tree is anchored by deep roots, roots that hold it steady even in the fiercest winds. Resilience is our ability to grow those roots, to dig deep, and find strength when the storms of life come our way. Setbacks often feel like endings, but they can also be beginnings in disguise. They push us to reevaluate, to adapt, and to find a new way forward. And here's the thing, every setback carries a seed of opportunity, a chance to learn something we couldn't have learned otherwise. Winners don't just endure setbacks, they use them as fuel to grow, to innovate, and to reimagine what's possible. Resilience isn't about pretending everything is okay or denying the pain of a setback. It's about facing that pain head on, allowing yourself to feel it, and then deciding to move forward anyway. It's about asking, what can this teach me? How can this moment shape me into a stronger, wiser version of myself? Think about the moments in your own life when you face setbacks. Maybe it was a failed project, a missed opportunity, or a personal loss that knocked you off your feet. At the time, it might have felt overwhelming, even devastating. But look where you are now. You survived, you adapted, and if you look closely, you'll see that those moments didn't just test you, they transformed you. Resilience is a muscle, and setbacks are the weights we lift to grow it. Every time you rise after a fall, you build strength. Every time you face adversity and refuse to give up, you reinforce your ability to handle whatever comes next. And over time, resilience becomes not just something you practice, it becomes who you are. Here's the truth: setbacks are not the opposite of success, they're part of it. Every person who has achieved something great has a story of failure, loss, or struggle. Those stories aren't footnotes, they're the very foundation of their success. They remind us that resilience is what bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to be. And here's the beauty of resilience: it's not just about you. When you show resilience in the face of setbacks, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a light for someone else who's walking through their own storm, showing them that it's possible to keep going, to rise again, and to find strength they didn't know they had. Life's setbacks will never stop coming. They'll arrive unannounced, challenging your plans, shaking your confidence, and testing your resolve, but the power to overcome them lies within you. Resilience isn't about avoiding the storms, it's about learning to dance in the rain, to adapt, to grow, and to thrive no matter what comes your way. Each setback you face is an opportunity to rise stronger, to learn something new, and to move forward with greater clarity and determination. It's not the fall that defines you, it's the rise. It's not the obstacle that shapes you, it's the way you choose to navigate it. Remember, resilience is your superpower. It's what allows you to turn pain into purpose, failure into fuel,